So the chief priests approached him and said, "By what authority are you doing these things?" What are these things? You have to remember yesterday's gospel to remember what these things are. These things are flipping over the tables and driving the people out of the temple. So they're like, "Hey, who told you you could do that?" Essentially is what they're asking him. And so obviously he turns the table on them and says, "Okay, listen, I'll answer you if you answer me." And it's a pretty simple question. It's not even that they have to get the right answer. They just have to give their honest opinion. But they won't do it. They won't be honest with him. Now, can you imagine not being honest with God? Anybody here ever lied to themselves? You could all raise your hands, okay, because I know you have. Okay. We lie to ourselves and we lie to God too. Or if not lie to God, we're certainly not completely honest. And so, one of the great challenges for us, and I speak us, me, one of the great challenges for humanity is to stand before God and completely bare our soul. And that requires self-knowledge. You heard a little bit of their dialogue here. Well, if we tell them this, then this is going to happen. If we tell them that, then that's going to happen. And we have a little dialogue in our own head sometimes too. And it has amazed me in my life. I learned about, you learn about, in psychology class, you learn about, defense mechanisms, okay, by which we avoid difficult truths about ourselves, about our family, about our society, about whatever, about our church. We will just refuse to see. And one of them is called denial, right? And I remember speaking to this gentleman who was literally falling down drunk in front of me. And I says, "Hey man, you been drinking?" Well, what do you think his answer was? "No." I'm like, "I just watched you hide your beer in the bushes over there and come over here and start asking for a handout, And then it's like, man, the capacity for deception, right? So to be honest with God. But if they would have been honest with Jesus, just honest with him. Maybe they got the wrong answer, maybe they got the right answer, just be honest. I think the Lord would have started leading them on the way. So we pray for that honesty. I want to mention, at least for a moment, our martyrs today, St. Charles Lwanga, in the 1860s. So it was a while ago. In the 1860s, there was some missionaries that brought Christianity, Catholicism to Uganda, and there was a wonderful conversion began. And even in the court of the king of Uganda, and some of the attendants at the court became Christians. And this king was used to having his way with his pages in the court and sexually. And when they were converted, they refused him. And they refused him on the grounds of their Christian faith and their morality. And what do you think his response to that was? Well, we're celebrating the martyrs today, right? He had them burned to death. And I read in the collect a moment ago that the blood of the martyrs is the seed of faith. And that there's been a tremendous growth of faith in Uganda and Africa. And it's not all perfect by any means, but nonetheless, when we stand up for the morality of our faith, then the powers of the world will seek to persecute us. This is a story that goes right. Jesus is he's a martyr, right? And he was martyred for telling the truth. And why didn't these people want to tell the truth? Because sometimes telling the truth is difficult, isn't it? And so we pray today for purity of mind and body and spirit. We pray for the capacity to stand before God and be completely honest. And in our honesty with God, trusting in his grace, the grace of his healing and transformation.